Kenya mourns the loss of a national hero, the formidable war leader and commander of the Kenya Defence Forces, General Francis Ogolla, whose life was tragically cut short by a helicopter crash after only 355 days in the office. His tenure, a mere 10 days shy of its first anniversary, was abruptly concluded, and his upcoming mandatory retirement has been left unfulfilled by this unfortunate event. This incident has precipitated unprecedented succession discussions within the Kenya Defence Forces, marking the first instance in its history that a serving chief has passed away. The question now arises: who will assume command of the KDF? The Kenya Defence Forces is comprised of the Kenya Army, which safeguards the nation's land, the Kenya Navy, which oversees the maritime security, and the Kenya Air Force, which controls aerial defense. General Ogolla, prior to ascending to his ultimate role, fulfilled the duties of Vice Chief of Defence Forces and Commander of the Kenya Air Force. He was the next in line according to established military protocol known as the Tonje rules. These rules trace their origin back to the post-1982 coup era, when Daudi Arap Chepkonga-Tonje, serving as the Chief of Staff during President Moi's tenure from 1996 to 2000, enforced significant reforms, including the rotational leadership model within the military known henceforth as the Tonje rules. General Tonje was also the commander of Kenya Army from the 1993 to 1996. He will be remembered for allowing women in forces to get married and bear children. With succession talks underway, it's important to note that General Ogolla was an Air Force pilot before his elevation, succeeding General Robert Kiboji of the Kenya Army, who followed General Samson Mwathethe from the Kenya Navy. If the time-ordered tradition of Tonje rules is adhered to, the next Chief of Defence Forces is expected to come from the ranks of the Kenya Navy. Within the Navy, only two individuals stand as a prime candidate for the forthcoming position: Lieutenant General Charles Kairiri, serving as the Vice Chief of Defence Forces, alongside Lieutenant General Jimson Mutai, the incumbent Vice Chancellor of the National Defence University. These are the key figures under consideration. The spotlight is particularly on Kairiri due to his experience as deputy to Ogolla and his intimate ties with the naval operation, positioning him as a stride ahead of Mutai. Kairiri's prospects of appointment as the national new commander of the armed forces are favorable, especially following his recent elevation to the role of Vice Chief of Defence Forces on March 8th. However, it is crucial to recognize that the tradition of Tonje rules, which have guided such progression for decades, might be overlooked as they do not feature in the Kenya Defence Forces Act, nor are they formally codified. According to the doctrines of defence forces, a general is expected to retire upon reaching the age of 62 or after completing a tenure of 4 years, depending on which occurs first. The untimely death of General Ogolla has precipitated a unique succession scenario, compelling him to bid his final farewell as the Chief of Defence Forces. Kindly subscribe.